Here at the Knowledge Hub Advisory Group of IDEA, where we've been talking about new ways for councils to share what they're doing and improve services with the public. And Steve Dale, Ingrid Koehler, you've shared publicly already the slides that you were talking to us about here. And all the way through, we've been saying, this is not a technology project. It's not about social media. It's about conversations. Well, what does that mean in practice?
I guess what that means in practice is that although we'll be using technology, that it kind of we hope it's not so noticeable and painful. That it's just a way to support people having conversations about practice, about improving their local areas, and not. We don't want the conversation in the sector to be about the tech, although, of course, that's what we've asked you here today to talk a little bit about.
But Steve, you've got the task of actually drawing up the specification with other people for what this system's about. So how do you balance, on the one hand, getting the technology not wrong, hopefully, and bring in all of the other culture change, human aspects, which I know you say is 80% of the issue?
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, I think there is a lot of conversations going on out there, and one of the issues that we've got to address, and this is the technology bit, I guess, is how in actual fact we can actually draw these conversations and actually aggregate them and actually sort of pick out the key things that we actually need to know to actually help us in our job or help us in terms of actually improvement. So the technology bit is actually about drawing together all of this useful information and making it easy to access and interpret and use in people's jobs. And I think the culture change, because it's difficult to say, what comes first, the technology or the culture. I think in actual fact, the technology will be nothing. It will be a white elephant if we don't in actual fact address the culture. And I think people are, or I get the impression, people think it's difficult to do these things. People think it's difficult to actually sort of join a social media, social networking platform. And I think part of the culture change is actually, and the technology behind that, is to show people how easy it is and what benefit they can reap by actually seeing these online conversations and joining in with these conversations.
And one of the other members of the advisory group here is Dave Briggs, who's worked in local government, central government, but he's also a bit of an outsider, standing on the side of the public, advocating open. What were you talking about there, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there was a big discussion about how closed or open the Knowledge Hub should be when it's sort of finally unleashed upon the world. And I was strongly arguing for the openness side of things. I think because if this thing is going to work, if it's going to sort of, if it's really going to capture the imagination of outside interests, whether it's local citizens and things like that interacting with their council, they've got to be able to have access to these conversations and the data that's going to be held inside the Knowledge Hub as well. Because I think there's another really interesting thing that, especially that came out of the group here today, I think, is that the best ideas for improving council services and changing the way that councils operate might not necessarily come from within that council, and they might not come within local government as a whole. There's a whole world of sort of civic activists, social entrepreneurs, even sort of profit-making businesses and things like that who've got valid things to be able to say about local government and the way that it does its business. And for those conversations to work and for those to be on a level playing field, then a project like the Knowledge Hub has got to be open and open to all.